Holy moly, we're live. We are live.
Hello, and welcome back to the Graybeard Podcast. I would like to thank you all for joining. Tonight we're doing something a little different. You know, it's just, I don't have any guests. It's just me and Pat. And, I figured why not let everyone that's been watching and following along with this journey. I love to say journey. It's like a fun thing. And it's like the cool shit to do is say journey, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, we're in a journey right now.
It's like the hip thing to do. But yeah, to let everybody just kind of like get to know us, and who we are and who Pat is. Like, who the fuck is this guy? And, and we're just going to rap. We're just going to talk about whatever comes up. It may not be particularly about photography. I've been having a lot of things on my mind lately about just random shit, and we're just going to get into it. So with that being said, oh God, I just realized
What?
if you're really not paying attention to what we're talking about, I'm going to be out here on a limb all by my little self.
What do you mean if you're not really paying attention?
Like if you're like focused on that shit?
Oh no, I'm good.
Okay.
Oh, I'm in right. I'm looking at you. I'm looking dead at you right now.
Shit.
Whether I'm on the screen, dude, I'm in this thing.
I'm all up on you, baby.
I'm good. I've got my emotional support pistol. I'm fine.
Oh damn.
Yep.
It's like that.
Yeah, and just forewarning, if I drop some F-bombs and some shits and giggles, then so be it.
Yeah, so be it. And I'm just glad that we can see your lava lamp there.
Oh yeah,
you're looking pretty sharp over there.
Yeah.
I do actually have kind of like it's the first time ever, probably, that I've ever had like bullet points. Like things I want to talk about.
Came prepared for me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, just
all people.
There's just a lot of shit going on, and something that it's rearing its ugly head again. And I know that you've been here for a little bit of when we talk about it, and I know you don't know exactly what I'm talking about, but you do, because like shitty dudes.
Oh yeah, I was in the Army.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
For me, it's what we call in the photography world. I like to, dub them the GWCs, guys with cameras, and there's just like I don't know the guy. I don't even know his handle. I could look it up because, there was a friend of mine was kind of sharing things, and it's been shared like they blasted him out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was put up on social media, about what he was doing. And, through my conversation with my friend about this person, apparently he was just like a very unsavory character, just doing pretty sketchy shit.
Wow.
With as many people as he possibly could. And, but it gave me, a lot of feelings came up inside of me about it,
Yeah.
Again, I don't have all of the details. All I know is, a woman came forward and like pretty much blasted this dude, sandblasted him all over Instagram.
Wow.
Which is good for her.
Yeah, get him out there.
You don't
want no other girls going to that creep.
Exactly.
Make it be known.
Exactly. But it gave me a bunch of feelings about the thing. And, when I was talking to my friend, I was just like, it made me think about how it affects me mostly. And that was kind of the conversation back and forth that I had with her. But it was just, after I got done with that conversation, I started thinking like, well, I didn't even take into, the stance that I took was he's making every other dude out there look like shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he's setting a precedent. Because one guy,
Yeah.
Now who is trustworthy within the pack? But,
right. And it makes it harder for us to get to actually get people when people find out about things like this, which I'm glad that they do, and I wish that they would find out more often.
Yeah.
But when they find out about things like this, it does kind of give
it's a sensitive market.
It gives ladies a little PTSD, if you would.
It's a sensitive market.
Right, especially with working with like female models, and a lot of what they do causes them to be in a position that, you know, they're scantily clad, you know, again, that's just me. That's a nice way for me to say that they could be nude. They could be nearly nude or implied nudes, or it's boudoir style, or it's, you know, whatever the fuck the content is, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
The idea is that they're in a compromised position with someone that could potentially overpower.
And a stranger of, you know, of all people too.
Oh yeah.
In most cases.
Yeah. And but I took in my mind, I was just like, man, that just makes us look bad.
Yeah.
It makes all male photographers look bad. You know, it just does. And that's true. But then on the flip side, like, again, like what I said, like, what does it do for women? You know, it gives them that PTSD. It gives them reason not to want to work with guys. It gives them, you know, reason to just, you know, avoid us at all costs.
Of it, yeah.
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 So I mean, like I said, it's a sad thing when it happens, but it's a good thing when it gets called out. I think I'm all down for calling out shitty dudes.
I think what we're missing a lot today in society is public mockery. Is being able to mock people in public for the things they do and say. You know, I mean, we have that right here to do it. When, you know, we should do it more often, in my opinion. Yeah,
like a public execution, but like just online murder of their social media. I mean, honestly,
it's a lot cheaper than housing them.
And again, this is me talking about something that I don't know all the details. I don't have both sides of the story.
Yeah.
So I don't know all the details, but I generally, and not that I'm a feminist, like a male, you know, those male feminists.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those, but I will protect, you know, women in certain situations when it's right. And in this situation, I'm always going to side with the female, just like pretty much which could take us down a road of a lot of different things. Yeah. Which sometimes when that happens, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. You know, a lot of times for dudes, it's not a good thing.
No.
You know, in divorce, they usually side with the woman, and you know, and if a cop gets called for domestic abuse and the woman was beating the brakes off of a dude, they'll take him. You know, it's just the way it is. But in this situation, anything that's, like I said, I wish I knew the full gravity, the full depth of this story. Like, how far did it go? Was it one of those things? But it was one of those things where, you know, and I saw some of the messages. So this person, you know, they had a little bit of that, you know,
tea.
Yeah, it was deep tea. It was super deep tea. But like, the guy was, and it made me feel a certain way because he was talking about how he's in a open relationship with his girlfriend. I guess this is the message to the model that he's trying to, you know, talk to.
Yeah.
And, you know, it made me feel weird because, you know, I'm in an open relationship. We are ethically non-monogamous.
Yeah, but you don't mix semen with business. You know what I mean? Just,
exactly.
Especially in a market like that. Hey, Taylor. By the way, Taylor Roth stopped on in.
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. But especially in a market like that, you know, which is cool, Jim. One thing that's really cool is like all these women that you bring on. You tell them, hey, if you want to bring somebody with you, you know, be my guest. If that's more comforting for you, we want to have a good conversation. So
a million %. And like, I know even Taylor does that, you know, and she's a woman.
Point in fact, yeah, she did, yeah, exactly.
And she brings or tells them to bring, you know, people. It's funny, like when Zaire came here, you know, the last time, I told her, probably a little too late, but I told her to please bring somebody, and then she just showed up without anybody. So it was just one of those things. But yeah, even coming here, I want people to come with, you know, a buddy. So if you're a female and you are coming on the show, I've invited you to come on the show. Please bring a guest. You know, they may or may not be on camera or talking at all, but it will be nice so that you at least have a little bit of security. I mean, usually, again, I mean, it's in my home, you know where I live. If I do anything out of the way, it's not like you can't find me or send the cops directly to me, you know, but, you know, and my girlfriend and her daughter are usually here. So it's like, plus we're broadcasting live. I don't know. I'm not going to try anything. I just don't plan. That's my whole thing. But like I was telling this friend today is that this is the exact reason that I don't really want to work with models. Like I want to.
Yeah.
I love the female form. I love the art of their.
Don't self-censor, Jim.
Right. I love the art of their bodies, the curves, the lines. I mean, everything about a woman is beautiful.
It's
everything.
Exactly. It's bred in our DNA.
Unless they've got busted
mesmerized.
toes. If they got busted toes, that's not.
Yeah,
beautiful.
busted ass teeth. You know what I'm saying? Like
I can live with teeth.
I don't know if you got more fingers and teeth in your mouth, it's done.
Well, if you got
done.
fingers in your mouth.
No, I'm saying if you got more fingers on your hands and you got teeth in your mouth, or in your head, I'm just
well, that's what I'm saying. Like I can deal with like some are here, some are there teeth, but like but as long as they have a full set, I'm good. But outside, and maybe not. I don't want to get down that road.
I don't know. If you got good dental insurance, maybe we can, you can make something work out.
We can, maybe I could be a dental daddy instead of a sugar daddy. I mean, obviously that's a joke. Yeah, thank you.
There you go.
But, yeah, it made me feel a certain way because I am,
a father of 2 daughters as well.
That as well. But I think about
and a photographer.
I think about my situation. And I'm just like, I'm, and I have told a few people, but I have never, to my knowledge, ever messed with or gotten sexual with anybody that I've ever worked with.
Yeah.
There have been a couple of flirtations here and there, but it never went further than that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you count Alana, then that's just a whole different thing. I'm totally banging that, but I mean, I'm sure you deal with certain things like that in your life, or you've dealt with certain things like that,
What, douchebags or
right
taking advantage of women?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, vice versa. I've seen it. I've heard of stories of other guys, like the old horror stories of dude on deployment or woman on deployment and
that's a
whole nother thing.
I wonder if it's worse on like in the Navy than like on a ship.
Yeah, I can't imagine it's probably the same all around, all honesty.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you just imagine.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Being locked up on a ship for fucking 6 months to whatever.
Yeah, out there on a carrier. I know it happens. My old friend, shout out Nick Tilleman, R.I.P. Nick Tilleman.
Oh, he died?
Took his own life this past Valentine's Day.
Is it still 22 a day?
Yeah, it's still 22 a day.
Jesus.
God, it feels like more.
It really does. It really does.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. He was a very good guy. He was my very first NCO when I got in the Army.
Yeah, that's a good segue to get into my next, kind of thing. Like, let's talk about a little bit. Let's introduce everybody to Patrick. If you guys don't know, this is Patrick.
Hey yo.
That's right. Give yourself applause.
Yeah, a little pat on the back.
But I just like tell them a little bit about. I already know a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
I've known you for a long time. Not only that, but you came on my other podcast that I used to do with Alana. And we talked about a lot of things. But just kind of, your military background, just all the things. Whatever you can think of, to like. Let the people know who the fuck you are.
Yeah, I'll let you know who the fuck I am. Yeah, my name's Patrick. I won't tell you my full Govy name, but now I grew up in here in Florida and grew up in a household with 2 stable parents, and one was in law enforcement for 13 years, and the other was in security for 12, and also in law enforcement for another 3. So both my parents were pretty, I don't know, they were very easygoing. They gave me enough rope to hang myself with growing up, so that was nice. Every time I hung myself, they were there to cut it and give me a good old pat on the ass. But no, they instilled I don't know, man. The way I think is just so like analytical, which is more important for like what I did in my Army career, which is moving beans, bullets, and Band-Aids. And but yeah, I joined the Army right out of high school. I actually signed my contract when I was 17. And went to basic in Oklahoma and individual training in Virginia, and basically deployed 9 months after that to Afghanistan, and tracked a lot of secret routes. They're not so secret anymore, but stuff coming up from Pakistan and in the north through Turkmenbasi. But
From who?
Turkmenbasi. Turkmenbasi. I don't know.
Okay.
Just north of Afghanistan.
It's a place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The secret routes coming through there, but a lot of high tech like satellite tracking stuff on the high side, like the secret side. So I got to see a lot of that stuff, how stuff operates behind the scenes and logistics and the military
Right.
operation. And it's a good segue to get a job at Lockheed Martin. So I got that job for a year, just doing logistics work and data analytical work and stuff like that. And then moved over to another company, moving stuff for the Navy, and then now I'm maintaining maintenance records for stuff here on this local base. So, but yeah, my whole military career has just basically been analytical, just keeping track of data.
Yeah.
And seeing how it moves and percentages of it, and trying to forecast things and whatnot. It's tough work. It's pretty boggling on the mind. You got to focus on it for sure.
I bet.
But yeah, kind of like, I don't think I have ADHD. I don't think I do. But when it comes to like being an analyst, like when I'm in the mood to do like work, analytical work, I'm like locked in, and it's probably like why I'm so, I don't know. I feel like my professional career kind of co-evolves into my personal career because I'm so like analytical of everything that goes on in the world. I like to keep an eye on it, all the current events and whatnot. But I everything that I've done in my life, I give thanks to my parents.
Yeah.
They instilled a lot of discipline and respect in me.
Well, that's something that I will say. I've said that for a long time, and I do give your parents all the respect in the world, because as a father of daughters, plural, I don't, what do you call it? I don't believe that I never thought there was any good dude good enough for my daughters,
Yeah.
until I met you, and we can kind of talk about that a little bit, that whole story. The day that we met was just so funny to me, and I will never forget it.
You can tell, yeah.
Ever. Well, I don't know what all happened leading up. All I know is that he was like at my house. This is when I was still married. And I think it was shortly after we just moved into that house. Like, I don't think it was maybe a year after
Yeah.
But I guess you and Gabby had been already going to school. Did y'all go to Doctor's Inlet together?
No, I went to Ridgeview Elementary.
Okay.
And she went to Doctor's Inlet, but yeah. So yeah, we had a good friend group going on there, because she was a grade behind. I was sophomore. She was a freshman, but all my buddies were sophomores, and we all lived like within a quarter-mile radius of each other.
Yeah.
And all rode on the same bus. And
it was a short one.
Yeah, you guys.
Hey, that's offensive. Don't do that.
Oh, come on. Shit. Public mockery is amazing. But yeah, we all had a group of friends. We would longboard, and she didn't really longboard because she had 2 left feet. But she, it's so funny. Like, we've known each other for 11 years now.
Uh-huh.
11, going on 11. And we first linked back up like 4 years ago. It was like 4 years ago now. Jeez. Yeah, 4 years. And we told each other that we had feelings for each other back then, but we were too chicken shit to let each other know.
Yeah.
And I thought that was always so funny. But yeah, basically Jimbo's daughter and I got married October last year, and been happily married since, and have a little one. He's not mine by blood, but he might as well be. And that boy, he's a fact. He is a freaking little, he's a little firecracker, man. He's a matter of fact kind of guy. But
he's a matter of fact kind of guy.
Yeah, you got to be matter of fact around him.
Yeah.
So, but it's not a bad trait to have.
Well, taking it back You know, it's really cool that first of all, let me just say it's really cool that you agreed to do this, you know, to help me with all of this, because it has taken my show to like a whole nother level.
Yeah.
You know, it really has. And I feel like the guests feel that. I got to have Russell back in
Dude,
on a day that you're here.
We got to cut it up for Russ.
Well, it seems like every time he comes in, there's some kind of malfunction going on, and
Yeah.
I like for 15 minutes.
Or I'm out of town, or
But like the first
yeah.
15 minutes of the last episode with him was like a holy fucking mess. Like the audio was shit. It was all fucked up, and I literally worked on it for like 2 hours before he got there. The cameras were a fucking mess. Everything was just messed up. Anything that it was like Murphy's Law.
Yeah.
Everything that could go wrong did go wrong. But we eventually got it locked down. We had a really good conversation. But I'm really happy that you agreed to come on and help me out with this thing. And to take it back to the very beginning. You know, the very first time I met Patrick, I'm driving home from work, and mind you, I used to work kind of long days, and I'd be exhausted, just like every one of you. But I had always kind of like not forbidden my daughters from like dating, but I didn't really want them to date that early.
Yeah, and the idea.
Yeah,
of it.
yeah. Well, because again, I knew me,
and you know the world,
and I know the world, and I don't trust boys.
Yep, exactly.
But I figured if there was a boy out there that was like me when I was younger, I mean, I wouldn't fucking touch a woman. I wouldn't even think about doing anything bad. Mostly because I was a big pussy.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a virgin until I was like, I think 21.
What the
20,
fuck?
21.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Because I was too afraid to approach women.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I did not know how to approach them. I didn't
Still
know.
is.
Pretty much. The game has not changed.
No.
I mean, it's changed, but the player is still the same.
If you want your ass smacked, you have to ask first.
Right.
All right.
And you can't call me daddy.
Consensual ass smack. Yeah, no daddy shit.
Only one can call me daddy.
There you go.
And the other two call me dad.
Yeah.
There's no daddy. But at any rate, I'm driving home from work, and I get a text message from my ex. And she's like, just to let you know, there's a bunch of dudes here. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
If I heard that shit.
Yeah, I was like thinking all kinds of shit. Like, what?
What are they there to move the fucking furniture?
Right. And I'm like, well, first of all, I was like, all right, well, it can't be, it has to be like her brother and a bunch of his friends or something, but
Yeah.
she kind of like clued me in. It's like some of Gabby's friends and stuff like that. So I was like, all right, no problem. So I go home and I come in through the garage and I walk in the door, and like everybody has their like seat at the table, which is funny because where I sit at this table is always my seat. It's always, I don't sit at the end or that end. I sit here on no matter where I'm at. I mean, depending on where the table's sitting and where the entrance and exit is, because I usually like to have one, depending on. Anyways, I have to be able to get up and go. I need to be able to see who's coming in at all everywhere.
Swift escape.
Absolutely. So he's sitting in my chair, and I see all the other ones, and they all perk up, and his back is to me. He didn't turn around. He didn't move, and I just came up to him and put my hands on his shoulders, and I said, I can't remember what the fuck I said. I think it was like, you're in my chair. Yeah, I think I did. And
then I said, seats taken. No, just kidding.
Find another seat somewhere else.
Seats taken.
I'm your huckleberry.
No, I think I stood up and shook your hand like a young man.
You
should.
did. You really did. And,
Yeah.
and you had like a firm grip, and I was really surprised, and I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
And from that moment, I just kind of like, not to sound goofy or anything, but I fell in love with him.
Oh.
Yeah. Isn't that gay? I mean, happy, not, the other gay. Sorry, I'm doing something right now.
Nah, man.
Ooh, did you know that if you're watching the live on YouTube, you can go to settings and change the settings to HD, like 1440, which is,
Oh shoot.
watching
Watching while live.
that's 4K.
While alive?
Yeah, while it's live.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
And it does make the picture quality much better.
It looks immaculate right now with 1440 on this screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're looking at it.
Yeah.
The
raw.
actual raw. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Nah, man,
But that's a little bit about Pat. And then from that moment on, it was like those fuckers would never leave. There was four of them.
Foursquare.
Yeah.
Played Foursquare right there in the driveway. But, you know, as a kid, like when I was 14, 15, 16, 17, I was more interested in just going out and jumping off of trees into the creek, man. Like, yeah, there was girls, but most of the time was with the bros.
Yeah.
You know, most of the time was spent with the bros. Yeah, I had a girlfriend in high school and whatever. And I spent time with her through the years, but this last 2 years of high school. But yeah, most of the time it was with the bros.
Yeah.
So, but after I had gotten into that relationship, I think the whole group had fallen apart from Gabby's side of the neighborhood. It,
Yeah.
like, kind of I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, the group was funny. Pat rules. Yeah, I guess.
Who said that?
Taylor. Nah, she's cool, man.
Pat does rule.
Go check out Taylor Roth. Her stuff is out of this world. If you go look at a picture, you're going to be like, wait, did she shoot that on Venus or Mercury or Mars? That shit's out of this world.
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah, it's crazy
Yeah.
looking. It's amazing. It's eye-capturing. Really is. Stunning.
And that she's really good at what she does.
Yeah.
And, excuse me. I kind of, she said, LOL, I'm dead. Thank you. I don't know. I've been kind of talking to her, like, you know, about like what I'm doing, you know, like I've kind of not that I keep saying that I've stepped away from photography. I have not really stepped away from it. I've more so just.
You've brought in your logo.
Well, there's that. But I mean, you know, I've just kind of like backed off from really engaging with people and going after shoots. And, you know, if somebody comes to me and they want to shoot, you know, I might do that, you know, depending on the situation.
Yeah.
But I've I've culled it back. I've got a lot going on here at home.
Yeah, you do.
There's a lot that's happening.
Plus pods, though.
Yeah.
Pods versus going and booking shit. I would rather pod.
Yeah.
Pods are fun. I mean, unless you're in dire needs and you need to go book shit to get money, okay, and you have it like that, then go do it. But because if you've made your life around it, then you should go pursue it. But no, I mean, you've got your whole 9 to 5, like I've got my whole 9 to 5. Like many of these other guests we've had on, they have their 9 to 5s too. So
yeah, and I did have someone reach out to me, an old friend of mine. He asked, and he wants to do a shoot. You know, they want to do. I can't remember what kind of shoot it was. Again, I cannot remember. But it's just like a couple shoot or anniversary shoot or maybe a Christmas shoot, something like that. But it's just gonna be in their backyard, kind of thing, you know,
Nice.
and with their puppy. You know, they every photo session that they do is with their puppy. You know, so I told him I would do that. You know, but that's what I'm talking about. Like if somebody reaches out to me and it's something that's like going to be fun for me and it's, you know, something I'm interested in doing, I'll definitely take the job. Not doing fucking weddings, you know, I might second shoot for somebody if they need any help.
yeah.
But you know, I've just kind of culled back. I just, with everything going on at the house and the podcast and everything, yeah. It's just been, and plus, you know, my 50+ hour a week work week, you know, it does take its toll.
Yeah.
Would I love to be a full-time photographer? Of course I would, but it's almost unfeasible. Is that unfeasible? Infeasible?
Yeah,
Is unfeasible. Yeah, it's just not feasible these days.
Feasible, yeah.
You know, people, unless you're in the right market, unless you're marketing yourself properly, it's probably just like the most difficult thing to do. Outside of that, you're doing a lot of freelance, free labor.
You're representing yourself unless you've already gotten to that point where you can have somebody represent for you, like a PR firm. Or,
right.
You know, but there's a lot of stepping stones to get to that.
I'll bet your ass. If I could afford it, I would have a PR, you know, representative. I would hire somebody to do that, as well as run my social media. I have, and I don't know if any of you guys have noticed, but I have been like kind of off social media. You know, I've been there a little bit. You know, I'll like dabble. You know, I'll get on. I limit myself to like maybe 30 minutes total a day.
Oh wow, that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just really trying to cull back the amount of internet that I'm, the time wasting that I'm doing on my
Yeah.
phone, because I like I talked about with, I think it was with Elliot, that I'm such a fan of everybody
Hmm.
that I want to just sit there and just got too much. I have too many things I want to get done,
Yeah.
and it's just not productive at all. But I digress. Back to you.
Yeah, cell phones, I feel like, or the internet or social media, etc. I feel like it takes up a lot of people's time.
It really does.
I feel like, everything, if you put all the time together, there has been many lifetimes wasted on cell phones.
100%.
Yeah, it's just so, I don't know if it's the dopamine release or,
I only get that whenever I'm getting interactions on my stuff.
yeah.
And again, I'm not posting like I was. I was posting, very frequently. Like I was trying to post at least 2 to 3 times a day. And just interesting content, the same content, and consistent. But I just can't. I can't keep up that pace.
Now, but what about like the TikTok format with the short term, every half a second there's a split, a different picture, and it's shifting your focus a lot, and you're just doing this, and then you look up, you're like, oh, it's been 45 minutes. I'll do the dishes in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you do that, and then like I deleted TikTok a year ago because I found myself doing that, and then plus all the Chinese spyware
that's all over everything.
Yeah, that's on it. If you've downloaded any of those social media apps, you've been infiltrated. So.
I got rid of Temu. I got rid of that because I've noticed a marked difference in the amount of spam emails that I get. When I downloaded Temu, and you guys, if you love Temu, that's fine. But what I've heard a few things about it. One, you put your account information into it so you can purchase things, and there's things that are on there that are super super cheap. But I have also heard from people that, oh, am I doing this thing?
Yeah.
What am I doing?
It's focusing on your hands. Okay.
Oh, okay. My bad. I'm doing like the presidential thing with the thumb. But I have heard that what it does is it charges you initially, that it's like you can get a drone for $6.96. Right.
Oh, but then they do the monthly payment, or
they start hitting you with these little fees and little charges every month. And you're like, wait a minute. At the end of it, it's well past $6.96.
Wow. Yeah.
So I've never actually purchased anything off of there.
Have you seen in the last like couple years now where they give you these optional payment plans, like on Amazon? They say,
oh, they have
pay for this in 4 months by $20, because it's $80.
It's just credit.
But there's a lot of that going on. Like I saw an ad for, I don't know, don't quote me on this. It was like some Subway place, but where they had posted for like an $8 sub, you can make $2 payments for the next 4 months to pay for. Yeah. So is that really what society has gotten to? We're paying credit for
everything.
Fucking lunch.
Well, everything is credit because that's the way in my knowledge, that's the way the government wants to go.
Brother, don't get me started on that.
I mean,
credit,
we can get started. We talked about keeping it light, but
I mean, we can. If you just give me a sec,
it's gonna get deep in this motherfucker.
I'll pull up the debt calculator.
You pulling it on the big one?
Yeah, I'm pulling it on the other one real quick. So we can flip it between us real quick.
Yeah, you can actually, we're going to play with showing you our screen.
Hold on.
We're going to play with screen share here in a little bit. This is a good practice for us. We're live. We're talking about real shit, but we're going to test out things so that when I do have guests on, if there's something that you want to talk about and you want us to pull up a site or something like that. Now, the YouTube stuff, I will say, you have to be very, very, very careful about the YouTube shit because it'll get. I mean, not that we monetize, but they'll pull our.
Yeah, they'll yank it for copyright stuff.
Yeah, they'll hit us
especially
for
audio and video stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I just pulled up the debt clock. And we're at 33.7 trillion.
How does it get to a trillion? How does it get to that much? Like, I don't understand.
So there was a book that I just read,
Make it make sense.
General Smedley Butler wrote it. It's called "War Is a Racket," and I don't know how to further explain it through that lane of thinking in war, but basically we just promise people that we're going to pay them, and we don't.
Well,
That's bottom line is what's going on.
Right.
Is we promise people that we're going to pay them, but hey, over time it's an IOU. The Lannisters always pay their debt. Type deal is what I feel like is going on. But if you guys want to go down rabbit holes, we can talk about BRICS nations. You got what is it? Brazil, Russia, India, China, Saudi Arabia, all wanting to unite and basically wipe out the U.S. petrodollar.
Yeah, I was going to ask about, have they already switched over from the petrodollar to whatever it is?
Last I heard, it was January 24 that they were going to start implementing that.
Next year?
Yeah, January 24. So, but I don't know. Thinking of that, it makes sense because, most of these trillions that I'm looking at on the screen right here, we owe to China, and that's one of the nations that's in that. Russia, definitely not our friend. Brazil, they're just as crazy, Lulu down there, their president or whatever, he'll side with anybody that's got money. Saudi Arabia, come on. So, and they're our main oil supplier, I believe. So, I don't know. We have a lot of enemies out there right now.
Yeah.
The U.S. just put out last week, the White House put out that a travel warning for anywhere outside of the United States because terrorist cells are on the rise and active.
Wow, really?
Yeah. So it's stay strapped or get clapped, folks, because But you got to think they've let 5 million people come across. Don't quote me, but upwards of 4 to 5 million people in the last 3 years have come across the border, and only 150 of them. 150 of those they found on the terrorist watch list that they know of. That they know of. So,
that's got to be that has
scary.
got to be the. Listen, I'm not doing anything to help with a terrorist watch. I don't know anything about that shit.
Yeah.
So that is one thing that our government we look to them to do those things.
Yeah, there are sheepdogs.
But the problem is all the things that they have to do to suss those things out, which they've been doing for fucking ever. So for those people that think that our government, they're like, we know they're spying on us. We know they're reading our emails. They know that they're looking at text messages. We know they're listening on phone calls. Obviously they're going to listen to this, but
Yeah.
or some, like we talked about last time, it was the bots or something.
Yeah, they
AI.
have AI scanners now that just
Right.
scan every audio.
I'm
file.
hoping that it's better than like the AI the AI bots on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram when you post something. I really hope that our government, although I venture to say it's probably the opposite. I feel like even as shitty as those social media bots are, they catch all the little keywords and give you the 30-day bans and all that shit. I feel like those are probably better than what our government's working with, unfortunately.
Yeah. I was listening to JRE today, and he just same, yeah. And he, the Elon was just on there, and I listened to that whole podcast already.
Was that the first one he went on?
No, this is the second or third.
Okay.
First one in Austin, I think, but no, Elon called earlier this year for a 6-month ban on AI.
Yeah, it'll never happen.
Well, he didn't he didn't draft the paper, but he signed on for somebody, with somebody else, some other famous guy that studies AI. And a lot of people actually stopped for the 6 months. So the ban helped somewhat. He went to a summit in London yesterday to go help further explain. But I guess a lot of people took heed and took a pause to it.
Like,
so.
He's one of the smartest Americans or people in the world.
Yeah.
Right now. And it probably would pay to listen to what he has to say. And
he explained it on there. He was saying we're giving birth to something that we don't know is going to kill us.
Right.
Don't know because what if some crazy motherfucker programs it to, cause human extinction? You know what I mean? So it's all, we're basically like Joe says all the time, sex organs, of the computers.
Right.
We create that, and is that going to be our demise? So it's just something to think about, because it's going to be I think it's going to be transformative in all of our lifetimes, within the next 5-10 years. So our kids are going to be in it deep. They're going to be playing with it. I mean, I know people are like, just live in the moment though, and don't look in the future, but come on, people.
Yeah, I mean they're already playing with it. I mean
you can't not think about it.
Yeah, you can't. I mean it's there, and what the problem is a 6-month ban is not going to do a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it's just slowing the inevitable. Like you said.
Yeah, and especially when you're putting rules on something, like when the U.S. criminalized a lot of drugs, you put that want in people's head, like they get the thrill out of doing it illegally, or they want it just that much more. So who's to say some shitty person that 116 isn't going to be like, fuck that 6-month ban. We're just going to keep going on with it. We're going to do it harder.
We're going to go hard.
Yeah, I'm going to go right in there hard.
Whoa.
But
hard and fast.
Hard and fast, baby. Full sin.
Yeah. No, it's definitely creepy. I mean, but the when you look at the and you listen to these people, like I think I mentioned, might have been, I can't remember, it might have been with Taylor. Everybody's running together now, all these conversations. I've actually done so many of these now that they're starting to meld
like a
together.
Movie. Yeah.
But I listened to a fella, and I wish I could find it, but he was talking about the advancement of the AI, like how fast it grows itself and how fast it like replicates and learns. It's like they said within 5 to 6 years it would surpass any genius level person that's ever been alive.
Yeah, and who's to say that the creators of that aren't going to gatekeep that information it gives, like a cure for cancer,
right,
to capitalize on money? I don't know. You just got to put the human aspect into that AI as well, because humans are greedy as fuck, especially when they're on the upper echelon, higher levels. They want to maintain that power.
Well, that's a whole fucking topic right there in and of itself. And I've always said this, that from the top, it starts at the top and everything filters down. So what I mean by that is, you will see, or if you see our government doing something, it won't be long before you're like the people you work for, our leaders that we work for, they're going to start exhibiting that exact same behavior.
Yeah.
I've already noticed it. I've seen it happening in my company. And I've seen it happen in other companies as well that I've worked for. But it's very disheartening. It really is, because it really makes you feel like there's nothing I can do to make things better for me, as an employee.
Yeah.
And we just had and I'll tell you, we just had a thing that we had to do. It was a survey that we had to do. And I don't know if any of you guys, or if they make you do it. You probably not have been there that long, but
is it like a survey that you do for like, hey, how does your manager treat you?
Yeah, similar. It's like how well do you think your
pay,
communication is? Okay. How well do you think this, that? Are you happy with your pay rate? Are you happy with? And then at the end of all they give you, it's like 20 questions, and you have to answer like not likely to likely, and then everything in between.
Yeah, neutral.
And so for me, like, I love my boss. I love her to death. She's fantastic. And so I tried everything I could to make her look like she's doing her job with all those questions. But I mean, really, they're just open-ended questions. It wasn't until the end when there was an essay portion you could write, and there was no limit to the amount of characters that you could put in there. So it was like, say anything that you want to say, and about that's wrong with the company, that you feel is wrong with the company.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that there was a next screen that says, all right, anything that you'd like to see changed. So I just put it all in that one.
Please refer to last one.
Yeah. I didn't even say that.
Yeah.
I will say, and it was supposedly done by an outside company and, third party company. And they told us that it's, that it was confidential and it was all, what do you call it? Where fuck.
It's confidential information.
Well, no one knows who you are.
Oh, it's anonymous.
Anonymous.
Yeah.
And I said, well, if it was truly anonymous, then why did I have to put my GPID in there?
Exactly. Yeah, they always say that shit.
Right.
I did it in the Army and then for another contracting company for moving shit with the Navy. And yeah, it's so funny because you fill them out and then it just goes straight into HR. And whether or not HR wants to let go of those papers, of those statements, then things will change.
Well, I can tell you that I was, because my boss is an overachiever, my direct boss, she's like a huge overachiever. So I was probably one of the first people to get it done because I tried.
Respect your boss.
She does a lot for me. If she asks me to do something, I give her a lot of flack and a lot of pushback, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I just like to fuck with her,
Yeah.
But, so I did it, and I was probably one of the first ones to get it done. And but what's weird is today, like almost everything. One thing I was saying was like, the people that work in the office. I'm out in the field. The people that work in the office, nothing drives me crazier is when I get back to the office and there's no one there. They're all gone for the day. I get there before them and I leave after them.
Yeah.
And I'm out there, on my hands and knees getting it done.
Yeah.
And you take that however you want, guys. I'm not going to get into
hands
details.
and knees out in the field. Let's go.
But
what do you go fucker?
But yeah, so so, and I said, I don't know what they're doing in there. I'm sure there's a function that they do, but I said, for someone who's out there working, 12, 14-hour days, when we get back and we see our bosses goofing around, not in their office, hanging out, who knows what they're doing.
Yeah. Fucking being shams.
We never see them in the field.
Yeah.
I used to. When I first started this company, I used to see them in the field a lot. And, now it's just like they're just office rats. And so that was one of the things. And what's crazy is like 2 days ago, every week we're supposed to do this thing called a 1-with-1. It's just a meeting that we have.
Yeah.
Just our boss, our direct boss, and us, and they go over like our sales, what's coming up, and all this stuff.
Yeah, that shit never happens. So.
Well, normally we do it, but we usually do it in the office.
Oh, okay.
So I have to go out of my way, and they know me. I will fucking leave. When I get back, I clock out, and I fucking get in my car or my bike, and I go.
Yeah.
And, I hate having to go into the office.
Well, you've been on the field all day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So, but now this one that they just did, she came out to me. She's like, "What store are you at?" And I told her what location I was working at. And but oh boy, I almost gave it away, didn't I?
Yeah.
But so I told her the location I was at. So she met me there, and I said, "Why did you come out here to do this?" And she's like, "Well, we're not allowed to be in the office much anymore."
Oh, wow.
So they told us all to do our 1-with-1s out in the field. So I was like, okay, cool. Today, when I get back, all of the bosses, because there's districts, and everybody, there's like probably 10 in Jacksonville districts.
Yeah.
And they're all lined up when I pulled in. And they're out there doing, they're out there washing trucks and doing this and doing that. And gave me a swag bag of stuff and because that was one of the things I said, that one of the questions that they had was about like morale and how do you get morale up and, or how do I suggest that they get morale up? And I was like, money, dude, we're in a situation right now where the last raise was a 3.2% raise or some shit like that. And it was across the board. It didn't matter what your evaluation was. If it was good, bad, or different, everybody got the same raise. Yeah. And which is kind of fucked up anyways. But, I said, we got a 3.2% raise, and right on the heels of the cost of living being hiked up to like 9.8, around that area. Yeah. And that was a year ago. So now, or last year. And so now it's probably even higher. Yeah. And I said, we're not pacing ourselves right. We're not, competitive pricing. I mean, pay is not there. There's no competitive pay. You know, I said, you guys want to talk about turnover? This is why you have so much fucking turnover, because you're
invest in your people.
Yeah, I said they can go somewhere else and make a little bit more, or even the same, but with less, responsibilities. I said, you guys put a lot of shit on us, but you don't give us anything. I said, but you damn sure don't have a problem buying rounds of pizza for everybody.
You think I come to work for a fucking pizza party?
Dude, you can keep your pizza
You think
party.
I come to work for a $10 Starbucks gift card?
Yeah, I've told them that. You can keep your fucking pizza party. I don't want that shit at all.
Yeah, throw it in my check. I'll buy myself some fucking pizza.
I didn't even tell him that. I said, I don't need any money to my check. Give me a gift card.
There you go.
Give everybody a $20 gift card.
Yeah.
Even just that little bit.
Or just a crisp 20.
Well, I mean, they're not going to do that. But, I mean, they can damn sure get gift cards.
Yeah.
You know, and if they gave everybody a $20 gift card, that's gas for the week.
You said it earlier. It all starts from the top down. I think that's just what it stems from.
Yeah.
You know, because at that job that I made that survey, a month later, I ended up getting my forklift license taken away because I saved a piece of equipment, another forklift that was out in the rain, but I used it wrong. But then I saved a $20,000 piece of equipment.
Right.
The manager only saw the bad side of it and took my license, and then that same week he took 2 other people's license. So we're down to one guy with a license in a warehouse, moving millions of dollars worth of parts every day.
Right.
And so I wrote a grievance up to the CEO, and I was like, dude, I'm. In the beginning, I was like, I know my job's a jeopardy, and I'm jumping all the way up the chain. This is how I feel, and I laid it all out and earned nothing but respect. And he actually flew down from Maryland the next week, him and head of HR and the CFO and all that shit, and hashed it out and talked to everybody like I asked for in the grievance letter. And, lo and behold, not much really changed, but the fact that
they took the time.
Yeah, this guy that I took for as a millionaire douchebag driving a Porsche, playing golf every day,
which he may still very well be.
90%. I got a good gut feeling. My ancestors blessed me with that, and he's a douchebag. But he came down and listened to everybody, and the guy was a lot nicer for a couple months, and kind of went back to ways. But I ended up leaving the company anyways. But yeah, it's just there's a lot of A lot of people don't speak up in the workplace these days either, and they like harbor these thoughts within themselves rather than go talking to their manager, or they just lost all faith in their manager because their manager is shit, and that's spineless managers are a pandemic right now in itself, in my opinion.
Well, I know, like when I was working for the last company I worked for, I let people run all over me. Yeah, and I would just I was fucking Dobby. What I mean? I was, just, yes, master. Yeah. And I would do, I thought that if I bent over backwards and did everything I was told to do, that it would get me where I wanted to go faster. Yeah. And that is nothing further from the truth. Yeah. Nothing further from the truth. And what I've also learned with this company is because now I speak my mind. Yeah. If something's not right, I speak my mind. If I feel a certain way about something, I speak my mind. But now I'm labeled as a troublemaker. I am a problem because I'm so mouthy.
Because you go against the grain.
Well, yeah. Well, I have a fucking opinion, and
he voices it.
And that alone, because my grievances aren't heard, or they don't listen to me, or they will
fall upon deaf ears.
Or they just go, that's not real. Yeah. And they just kind of shove it under the rug, and it's just like, that's one of the things that has made me, when that started happening, that's when I really started to like take on more weddings. And I was like, really, I did the shop, and I tried everything I thought that I should be doing to start my own business so that I could get away from that and separate from that. And eventually I'm still going to do that. Yeah. I would rather be able to do that here, and separate. That way I could do a podcast every day.
Yeah. No, that'd be great. I mean, but with the whole shop thing, like you went in it pretty freaking heavy quick too. I will say that. And it's just such a risk going in with somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, going into a business relationship with a person these days is tough.
Yeah.
Not only because the market's tough, but because people are tough.
People are very tough.
People are very tough to get along with, especially when you're in a environment like this where you have to have creative ideas kind of mix and flow and intermingle and work out.
Yeah.
And if you're not firing on all cylinders, man, this right here can collapse quickly.
Well,
So,
one thing I learned about myself when in trying to start a business with someone is that I don't know everything there is about business. I don't know everything about keeping it functional, as far as, well, just the financials with this, with that. I was so all over the place
yeah.
that it was hard for me to like stay focused on what I really needed to be focused on. But you have to keep in mind that I was also working a 50+ work week.
Yeah.
And like I would work a 12-hour day, and then I would go to that place and I would work until, from like 3 o'clock till like 8 o'clock at night, sometimes 9, come home, start all over again. I get up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and that was, my day was from 2 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day.
Yeah.
And, not always was I doing what I should have been doing while I was there.
Yeah.
But I tried, man. It was just a lot to keep going. Not only that, but I was doing 2 podcasts on top of all of that, and my own photography stuff, and it was just a lot going on.
Yeah.
And I it was too much for me, and that's why I ended up leaving ultimately. But I felt bad about the whole situation, but everybody's fine now. Everything is worked out. It worked itself out.
Hey, looking back, probably a fucking blessing, man.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing about me is I'm never going to, I say never. I hate talking in absolutes because absolutes are bad, especially when you're talking about shit that could or couldn't happen.
Yeah.
Might or might not happen. But I try to never put myself into a situation where I can't leave or where I can't just cut and run. And I mean that with everything. The only thing I can't do that with right now is my motherfucking job, because I've got bills.
Oh yeah.
And I'm trying my hardest to like make sure that I'm trying to cancel debt and get rid of debt, so I don't have so much stress about that, about money and stuff.
Yeah.
Because if I can get rid of all my debt, or at least consolidate it to a reasonable amount, I can like maybe think about, I don't need such a high-paying job. I can find something here that's close by that I can walk to, and that will afford me more time to put into this or into photography.
Yeah, if you cut all your overhead down, you can definitely
100%.
have a lot more time and energy and effort to put into other things that you want to do. Yeah,
but speaking about all the construction stuff, if anybody's been following that stuff, I'm knock on wood, I've got some contractors that hopefully will be coming through. Hopefully they're watching. I actually told them about the podcast. Hang on, let me go in here and see if I can find them. I followed them on Instagram, and I will tell you, HD Home Repairs. So yeah,
hit them up.
Yeah, hit them up. It's a new page. Apparently their page keeps getting hacked or something like that, so they keep having to start over. I'm not sure what that's all about, but just from their page, it looks like they do a lot of really, good work. So hopefully they'll be helping me out, get this job done in the house, so I can stop thinking about this and I can start because I guarantee you, once this house is done and this room is done, I'm going to start focusing on more, and I will be using this space because it's set up strictly as a podcast space.
Yeah.
But I want to get it to where I can break everything down and then set it back up
ergonomically.
I want a table that I can fold the legs up on and hang it up on a wall somewhere out of the way, and it looks nice like decoration. I want to be able to move my, I'll mark at the floor where the cameras go, shit like that, and just be able to set it up and take it down as needed. And that way I can use that wall for photography, this wall for photography. I'll put a backdrop over here for photography, and I can do many sessions in here.
Yeah.
Not only that, but obviously I run a YouTube channel. I still want to do the YouTube videos that I want to do, on top of this podcast. And, I may end up continuing that. I don't know, but I just don't. You do
Yeah.
what you have time to do.
Yeah, and what you want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's see. What did I have here? Who's Patrick? Military design of your life.
Design of my
Would you
life.
have guessed that this is where you would be in your life? And I don't mean like here, but like where you're at in your life. Would you
Yeah.
have guessed that, or would you when you were younger, like what were your goals when you were a kid? Did you even think about stuff like that? Were you like, I want to get married and have kids one day, or did you just like free balling it?
No, I definitely wanted to emulate my parents. Like, I have a wife and I have children and everything like that.
Yeah.
I got another brother. He's a half brother, and I definitely wanted that. But growing up, I don't think I saw that 15-meter target. I was more so looking at like the 5-meter target and thinking about joining the military. Like I pretty much had my mind made up in high school. As far as I can remember about high school, that I was just gonna join the Army right out and go serve some years, see how I liked it. It's so funny. A lot of people talk about doing 20 years when they join, like first get in, and then they go towards the end of their first contract, and they're just like, "Fuck this." And
how many years did you spend in there?
I did 6 years in reserves, 2 in the IRR. So it was really 4 years active duty, bouncing around off orders, going from place to place. Spent some time in Europe, spent some time in the Middle East, all over America. Yeah, it's fun, but it's tough, man, because you're just so bound to the decisions that your leadership makes, bound by contract.
Right.
You have so many obligations you have to fulfill as a person,
Mm-hmm.
not only mentally but physically, and it's pretty taxing on the soul.
Yeah.
Pretty taxing. So
I worry about you sometimes, man.
why?
I don't know. I just do. You're the type of guy that knows how to like. I want to say hide. Not that you hide anything, but I feel like you're always like when you're around me, it's
Mhm.
always smiles and
Yeah.
Do you ever think about like are you okay? Like everything good?
Oh, I'm great, man. I'm good.
I just
Yeah, no, I mourn for my brothers that fucking shoot themselves
Well,
in the
that's
face.
kinda
what
where
I
I'm
mean?
going.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
But the thing that I see what correlates in these things is like they didn't have a family. Like they didn't have a sense of family.
Right.
Like they weren't really shunned, but they shunned themselves.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they kind of outcast themselves, made themselves misfits.
What caused them to do that? You think? Is it just the
It could be childhood.
PTSD from what they went through in the military?
Yeah, and my most nearest dearest friend that did that to himself, Nick Tilleman, he spent time when they first got in Iraq, and he was going up the rivers in little boats with miniguns and shooting off people,
Yeah.
and he was in the Navy before he got in the Army, so he had a whole other career in the Navy as a weapons technician, something like that, but.
That's got to do some shit to your brain. Shooting at people with a gun, like
Yeah.
it's one thing to say I'll bust a cap, but until you're actually in it and you're fucking like pointing a deadly weapon towards someone, and you could end their life. Or they could end yours. It's got to be the most taxing thing on your psyche that I could possibly imagine to think of.
Yeah. It's very taxing. I will say one thing as like someone who's been in a combat zone. The one thing that is so frustrating is when you come home and you try to have a conversation with somebody and they just don't see it in your point of view, whether it be on a topic of just the way the government behaves or the way you believe in defending yourself or always having security up or just thinking at life as like a tactical standpoint rather than a passive standpoint. And it's just hard to drive that nail across people that have never been in that environment, who have never had that training, who have never watched the videos of bad shit happening and rehearsed things and studied literal routes in war, you know what I mean, and strategized war. And it can be frustrating sometimes trying to explain that to people and, giving giving your sense of mind to them and trying to implement it in them. And
Yeah, people that are civilians will never understand.
Yeah.
I don't even understand. You know, I try, but I will never understand and think the same way, like, you know, the same way that you do. Now, as a father, as someone who's always tried to protect his loved ones, you know, when you're a father and you're a husband, it's your responsibility to protect, right?
Yeah.
So I have a little bit of that, but it's not to the extreme that you or anyone in the military has had to deal with. You know.
Yeah, like, I mean, you want to talk about protecting family? I go so far to have a year's worth of rations if the power goes out. You know what I mean? Like just shit like that. Like, I go to that extent. And but I don't think, I shouldn't say normal person, but a civilian that has never had military experience would think of something like that unless they were
I know I wouldn't.
Deep down in the ayahuasca hole, you know. But
speaking of that, I thought about taking mushrooms tonight. I thought that we should probably shroom up together, but I don't know if you guys are ready for that yet.
Yeah, we can do that on a Saturday. Well, we won't do that at all. We'll do it recreational with fake mushrooms. But,
alleged mushrooms.
Just the ones that you buy off the store.
Yeah,
store
just
shelf.
shiitake mushrooms.
Shiitake. Yeah, those. We'll fry them up real good. But yeah, man. I mean, just be ready for anything. It's so hard to be ready for anything.
Yeah,
and especially if you think about that all the time, to be trying to be ready for everything, it can be taxing as well.
Well, back to what you were saying about like coming back and trying to make people understand and think the way that you think about things, and like it's never going to happen. You're fighting a losing battle.
Yeah, not the way that I think of it.
Exactly. Or it'll never be to the extreme that you think of it. Now, you may get through to some people where they're like, okay, dude, just do your thing. You know, to like that point where they're like, just do your
Hands
thing.
Off. Oh yeah.
You know, hey, do whatever you need to do. You're running shit on that front.
Yeah.
Go for it. You know, but outside of that, most people might and this is a problem that I have even with myself. Freedom ain't free, and we take what we have for granted.
Bro.
On a regular. I mean,
bro,
you know, it's so easy to get up every day, go to your job, go to Starbucks and get your lattes and put your Lululemons on and go to your gym for 15 minutes. You know, I mean, like, it's just one of those things where it's like,
so pampered as a society.
Well, you know, just even being able to take a shit inside your house and not worry about a shell coming down and blowing your asshole apart. You know what I'm saying? Like, we take what we have for granted. And there's a lot of these little, you know, all these people out there that are like crying, and they're social justice warriors and shit like that, crying about fucking, you know, this and that. And like, dude, you should be worried and thinking about other shit besides your fucking little pampered emotions. Like, and that's just my feelings. That's my personal feelings about it. You know, I think a lot of people are way too sensitive about a lot of things that they shouldn't be as sensitive about.
Yeah.
I think that if they thought about things, and if they were, and I know this is unethical, but I mean, like, what country is it? Israel? Where I can't remember, but there's.
What are they doing? Name it?
It's required to go into the military.
Oh yeah, that's Israeli special or IDF.
Yeah, everybody, every able-bodied human being, when they reach a certain age,
it's a minimum of 1 year. I think
you have to go in at least 1 year.
Yeah, and get some sort of formal training and
whatnot. Could you imagine if they instituted that here?
Imagine the sense of nationalism that they have, like patriotism that we have. You know what I mean? Like, the day after 9/11 would be every day,
right?
In my opinion.
What happened to that? You know, when 9/11 happened, it was like the world changed for about
a year.
I was going to say 2 months.
Well,
but I mean,
okay, yeah.
I only really noticed it for about 2 months, but everybody got way nicer. People would let you in traffic a lot easier. People would hold doors. People would speak. You would make eye contact with people that you don't know walking down the street, and you give a head nod, you know. And it seemed like, it didn't last very long, but something like that brought everyone together. And something that's been on my mind about, you know, there's people out there that want absolute peace in the world. And I thought about, and I used to be one of those people, you know, and I still, of course, it would be nice, right?
Perfect world.
Perfect world. There's no wars, you know, but then what does that do? It opens you. There's always going to be some kind of conflict. This guy is going to want what this guy has. This girl thinks that she's prettier than this girl. You know, there's whatever it is, and that's just local. You know, when you talk about globally, it gets even bigger.
This government wants this land.
Resources.
We want this resource. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things where I will never understand the disconnect, you know, from people like every single day. And why is it that we can't be just a little bit nicer to other people?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not required. You don't have to be nice.
Yeah.
You know, but if you look at countries like, I think it's Japan, and everybody, you go to Japan, and I've never been, I'm just what I've heard.
Yeah.
But I mean, have you been?
No, I've never been in Japan, but I have a lot of friends that have been. They said everyone's very respectful there.
You like uber respectful.
Yeah.
Like people are there, and they're packed. Like you talk about like if you see a New York sidewalk, you know, when you've seen those B-roll shots where people are just like walking up and down the sidewalk shoulder to shoulder, but they're bumping into each other. Hey, fuck you, man! And you go to Japan, it's similar. Everybody's got their head down. If they bump into somebody, oh, I'm so sorry, and then they move around.
They make it a point to be respectful there.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
well, I mean, I'd probably be respectful too if Japan bombed us twice in the 40s.
Yeah. Whoa.
I'm just kidding.
That
was pretty
bad
dark.
joke.
I'm part-time comedian.
Yeah, right.
In my genetics as well.
That was actually something I put on my notes and then took it off. It was something about comedy. I can't remember what it was, but
there's so much, so many things to make fun of these days.
There are, but you know, and that goes back to the whole social justice warriors thing. I feel like it's time for them to cancel themselves because
they already have.
Okay, those things happen. They end up canceling themselves.
Did you hear about the last night? The founder of Black Lives Matter. Did you hear about this?
I might have. Refresh my memory.
We're talking about social warrior stuff. So,
wasn't the founder white?
No, it was a black lady.
Okay.
But they were found using the money that people donated, scrupulous. They were using it scrupulous. And they were buying mansions in Bahamas and other California multi-million-dollar mansions. And
so basically it wasn't going to help anyone.
No, it wasn't going to anyone. It's just like these organizations that, you know, 90% of every dollar goes to...
like charitable donations. The charities, I don't donate to any charities.
Yeah.
Unless I know the person that it's going to. Then I will, in fact, bypass the charity and give them directly the money. Yeah. Like, I did just donate my friend Jason, his sister, I'm gonna fuck this up, and Jason, if you watch, am so sorry, but his sister has, I want to say MS, and
multiple sclerosis.
I think that's what it is. I'm not 100%. It could be something else. But whatever, she's got something, a horrible disease. She's a beautiful person, a wonderful, wonderful person, and I've known him forever.
Yeah.
You know, and he was doing a bike ride with a group for this foundation.
Yeah.
And specifically in her name.
Nice.
And I did donate a little bit to that. And I will, those type of things. If it's a friend of mine that reaches out and it's local, I will donate for that person. Especially he was doing it was an actual fundraiser, you know, for that. So I donated whatever it was, $20-$50. I don't even remember what little bit I could to help.
Yeah.
And, I believe in that, but I don't know what the point was behind that. I don't donate to...
No, we don't donate to big organizations that take 99% of the dollar. And,
there's a fucking CEO, with that company. Like, what?
How many people need to get paid in between you giving them rice and me giving you $20?
Right.
You know what I mean? How do you... Make the logistics make sense to me. You know what I mean? Like,
make it make sense.
Put it on paper for me.
No one will.
Yeah. But that's the whole human aspect of greed. Just like downloading greed into AI. You know, it's just it's a dangerous human characteristic.
Yeah.
You know, so the only way this place is going to get better is if people help people. You know what I mean? That's the bottom line. You know, that holding that door for that person. Hey, how are you? You know, the day after 9/11.
Yeah.
But going back to that, you said why did that all change? Well, you got to think the whole idea of going into Iraq and all these other Middle Eastern countries because they had WMDs. Saddam had WMDs. Yeah, air quotations.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, you know. So
Did we ever find said WMDs?
Nope. Nope. So, but you know why? Because it never happened. They needed to create a war.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think it was like a year before 9/11 had happened. They had already laid all this out.
Right.
So it was 7 countries.
You know, and I know there's a conspiracy that our government created 9/11 to start a war or whatever, to be able to go and invade.
False flag.
I don't believe that. I don't believe it. I don't believe they did that.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that they capitalized on what happened.
Yeah, you can't let a good crisis go to waste.
Oh, no.
You know? Lockheed Martin's got to stay in business, man.
Yeah. There wasn't like, what was it, the Cuban Missile Crisis?
Yeah. Was that Bay of Pigs?
Where they were like saying that Cuban nationals were going to bomb America or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But they cut that shit short.
Back in '69. Well, they were found. I forget what the operation.
I think that was that JFK was the president, and he found out about it.
Remember, no, it was Operation Northwoods.
Okay.
So I think it was Northwoods, but you can quote me on that. But basically, they tried to, they were going to blow up some politician and blame it on the Cubans.
That's right.
That's what it was. And then they were also going to start a lot of proxy false flags, or not proxy, excuse me, start a lot of false flags trying to start a war with Cuba so we could take that land that's just south of the United States over.
Right.
You know, so that's all came to light too.
Yeah, that's a whole mind fuck.
Here's one thing I'll say though. I can't remember who put it, but they basically said that it might have been a guy that I can't say his name because he's been shunned from the internet.
Oh,
but he basically
hide your babies and children.
Yeah, the frogs are turning gay.
International time-space warriors are coming after your children and raping them. The
Anunnaki are gonna come get you.
Bigfoot is real.
Yeah, basically he put it.
He's a time traveler, interdimensional being. Sorry,
Alex Jones, y'all. But that's who we're talking about. Basically, I'm pretty sure he put it that the U.S. government's excuse to act this way and do these things is because if they are not the bad guy, then the bad guy will take the light. Will take heave. I don't know how to explain it. They'll take the reins, basically.
Right.
You know, if we're not 1 foot in front of them and creating this narrative that they are the bad guy before
they become
the bad guy, then
towards us. But that's the thing. Like, a lot of people have stayed away from the U.S. for a long time, and thank God, hopefully, because of our military forces, they will continue. Yeah. But I also heard a historian, I believe it was. I can't remember who it was. The name escapes me, but he was saying it wasn't on the JRE. This was actually on a TikTok.
Oh wow!
But the dude's credible. I checked and I went back and read some of his papers, but like, he was talking about, back in the day, why didn't, like, after World War II or I'm bad with history, but like when the Nazis were invading, and all that shit, why they never came here. And he actually spoke to this, someone who was like, and this was years ago. This publication was years ago, probably when I was a baby. Yeah. But he actually sat down and had lunch with somebody who was actually in that army. Yeah. And they're whoever shall be unnamed, whatever. But they were saying, he asked them, why did y'all never invade the U.S.? And he was like, oh, we planned to.
Yeah, they did.
We had strategic plans set up to, but the only thing that we could not suss out and the only thing that we could not get around was the fact that almost every American home had guns.
Yeah.
That they were armed to the tits. Yeah. And we could not land anywhere we land, we could have been fucked. And that was the major point of concession for them why they never invaded us. Yeah. So just think about that when you're wanting to take away everybody's guns, guys. I'm just saying. Guns aren't always the problem.
Well, Germany actually tried to have Mexico invade us.
Really?
Yeah, they sent messages to Mexico, and the U.S. had intercepted them during World War II.
Oh, wow.
And they asked Mexico, hey, can you help us overthrow the U.S.? And they were like, oh, man.
Nah, man, we're okay.
Nah, man. But
we're just trying to get into California.
Yeah. Still are. But Yeah, I don't know. A lot of things change, in my opinion, with just everything that goes on when special interests like came about, which was the World War I, World War II time.
Yeah.
Because you had like, for instance, you had like leather companies that made shoes in World War One, have a 1,300% profit increase. And it was just the same people that benefited all the money out of World War One. Within 5 to 10 years later, they're already wanting another war. They're so money. They're so. The only money that they are thirsty for has blood all over it. You know what I mean? And it's because it's good money. So if you, I don't know, anybody listening, if they could take the time, General Smedley Butler, he was a general in World War One, passed right before World War II, but he laid it all out. Basically, War is a Racket is the book. Good read.
I've got a bunch of what is it, not the Amazon book thing. I think it's Amazon, is it?
Kindle or whatever. Or,
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But I got a bunch of like points. It goes by points. Not,
okay. Oh yeah, like the book points or what? I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck is it called? I don't know. Whatever.
Anyways,
it's a book reader thing, but audio books.
Yeah.
Audible.
That's what it is.
That's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got a bunch. And you don't buy books on there with money. You buy them with points, and they have to give them to you. You can't buy points. Okay. I've got like 8 or 10, like up between 8 and 10 points, and it's like a point per book.
Oh wow!
So I can get a bunch of books. So if you're listening, please, in the comments section, either on the live or after the live, or even reach out on the audio podcast side. You can leave a comment, or if you're on Apple podcasts. I think that's the only place you can leave a comment. I could be wrong, but leave a comment and give me some good book suggestions. I need those.
Yeah.
And I don't want to read Twilight. Okay. It's not something I'm interested in at all.
I think this next book I'm going to read is called The Prince. It's Machiavellian.
Okay.
It's a story of a prince who basically used like just horrible tactics on his people to maintain power.
Oh wow!
And on his enemies and friends and stuff. But I don't know. It'll probably be interesting. We'll see.
The last book I listened to was Fingerprints of the Gods.
Oh yeah, by Graham Hancock. Yeah.
I actually bought the physical book.
Just about to buy it the other day.
I have it.
Okay.
Do you want to actually read it, or do you want to have the audiobook?
I'd rather read it.
I'll loan it to you.
Okay.
It's like 800 fucking pages.
Shit. Okay.
It's a biggin.
I might have it for a while.
Yeah. I mean, as long as I get it back.
I got you.
Because I bought a bunch of books.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember where I was at. I don't know if it was. I think I went to like a. This is my dumb ass trying to look cool.
Chamberlain Book Mine, probably.
I just like went to a fucking like thrift store or something and like picked up books.
Yeah.
And I was just buying books. Like,
yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah. I was like, it's got a nice spine, a nice name, and then I was just buying them, and I was like, I'm gonna put them on a bookshelf or on my coffee table, which I don't even have anymore. But so that when people come over, they're like, he reads, he's smart.
My wife gives me shit because I have a lot of books on the shelf that I haven't read. I'll buy them and put them on the shelf, not read them for a long time. And
yeah, you'll get to them eventually.
She sees me crack a book open. She's like, "Wow, you're actually reading." Wow, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm actually because I have the time to now."
Yeah, I'm sure you don't have a lot of time, and when you do, it's like,
what do I want to dedicate my time to?
Yeah.
Especially being a father, the young one.
Well, even, just anyone these days, like, where do I put my time? Where do I invest my time? Do I invest it in my health? Do I invest it in, my diet? Do I, what is it that I do? I go to the gym? That's what I mean by health. I mean, do I go to a gym? Do I go for a walk? Do I start riding bikes? Do I start running? What am I doing with my time? Am I going to sit down and play fucking video games? Am I going to watch anime for fucking 18 hours? What am I doing?
Are you thinking about how you're spending your time is the first question probably.
Right.
Like are you looking outside of yourself, looking down at yourself and going like, okay, what am I regretting? What can I do better? Like, am I feeling like shit? Listening to my body.
I think and you can look it up. I can't remember what the term is, but it's an ADHD function. I've never been diagnosed with ADHD, but I know from like looking at all the symptoms and just over the years and years of talking to people that have it, I'm like, I'm 98% positive that I have ADHD. Like, But something that ADHD people get is, I think it's called executive dysfunction. I believe.
Executive dysfunction.
I think so. It's when you are crippled by the notion that there's so much shit to do and you don't know where to fucking start.
Yeah, it popped right up. Hold on, it's loading. Hold on.
I think that's the definition of it. But it's so hard for me knowing all the things I need to get done, and I will literally shut down.
As a psychology and neuroscience, executive dysfunction or executive function deficit is a disruption to the efficacy of the executive functions, which is a group of cognitive processes that regulate, control, and manage other cognitive processes. So it's basically like all your wires are just basically being scrambled is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
It says is a symptom that happens with conditions that disrupt your brain's ability to control thoughts, emotions, and behavior.
Yeah.
So
That shit's real, man.
Yeah.
For years, I'm still on the fence about ADHD, like what it actually is, and like should it be treated with medication? And I know that there's people out there that are fucking screaming at their fucking TV or laptop or whatever, or radio, whatever they're listening to this on, and at me going, "You motherfucker! Of course we need this medication," But
yeah,
like for me, if I can get the ball rolling, if I can just pick a direction, I will go that direction, and I will go hard, because coupled with the ADHD, I have OCD.
Yeah.
So like I don't want to stop until it's right.
So everything has to be perfect.
So like my floors being, 75% done is driving me fucking crazy. But hopefully that will be taken care of very, very shortly. To the fellas over there at HD, what did I say it was?
HD, I don't know, Home Improvement? No, that was a show.
Was it Designs?
HD, I don't know.
HD Home Repairs.
HD Home Repairs.
Hopefully you're listening right now. And yes, I gave you a fucking shout out for free.
Yo.
And I did. I actually offered them, if they wanted, if they needed professional video or photo shot before and afters and stuff like that, process videos, I would love to come out or even do it here. I guarantee you I'm going to be doing, if I'm home and they're in the process of ripping shit out, I'm going to be taking befores and in the middle and then afters. And if I can do some creative video with it, I'll do that. And anything I get, it's theirs. They can have it. They can use it for their stuff. But because I love that shit. Honestly, because I do that kind of shit, it saved my ass so much money in the other house with her when I was living there. And ever since I did that, she's had that stucco on the outside of the house removed and replaced 3 times. And not had to pay a dime. Yeah. And the house painted, because I was one of those hoverers. When we were having the house built, I would be there every fucking day. And I would take pictures. I would walk around the inside, the outside of the house, and take pictures of everything. And I had it all backed up on a hard drive. And this was well before I even started my photography career. But I had a little point and shoot camera that I would come out and just pop pictures.
Well, I think, if I remember correctly, there's old videos of Gabby when she was 5 or 6 opening up Christmas presents. Oh, yeah, I think you were videotaping all that.
Oh yeah, well, we actually had one of those little camcorders, one of the little 8mm camcorders, sorry, I had a little hair sticking out. Anyways, I gotta stop watching myself on this.
Don't worry, I'll pull it later.
You're not gonna pull nothing. Pull these nuts. But I would videotape as much as I could. We didn't get that. See, what pisses me off is we didn't have smartphones. When Gabby was little, we didn't have smartphones, and we couldn't afford a camcorder.
Well, there were $1,000 freaking dollars back then.
Yeah, camcorders weren't cheap. By the time Bianca was born, they were less expensive. Yeah, and we actually bought a camcorder. And it was always in my hand. I had it. I would have it at any function, any birthdays, whatever.
And now everyone has one in their fucking pocket.
You have it in your pocket.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Crazy.
And I wish that there's tapes of. I hope she still has them, but there's tapes over there that I want to digitize with Gabby and with Bianca and when they were little, and those are things that I would love to be able to do and have those memories digitally and have them, so I could share them with the world. And
let me ask you a question.
Yeah, man.
If, like, when you were growing up, getting your hands on like a good camera was really hard to get. It was hard to access.
For sure.
Unless you had a lot of money.
Yeah.
Which not a lot of people back then had a lot of money or the time or whatever situation they're in, they couldn't afford it. So do you think like not having the phone as a kid, not being able to just take pictures whenever, and not what's the word here? Not holding photography as close to you because you got it right here. You know what I mean? Like, would you appreciate it that much more if
for sure.
if you would have grown up as a kid with one of these? Do you think you would have? Like, if you had access to a camera,
maybe.
like an iPhone when you were 8 years old, do you think you would love the photography? You know what I mean? Like,
maybe. I mean, it's possible, but like the difference is, like, your son, he's grown up in a world where there's never not been a cell phone.
Wait until the EMP.
Right. Well, then it'll be something totally different. But he's always had that there. It's always been a part of his life ever since he's been knowledgeable about it, about things, when he's able to. So for me, I mean, if I grew up like him, I don't really know. Honestly, I don't know if it would make me more of a wanderlust or,
I guess
be more interested in what I could do with it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's kind of an open-ended question, I guess.
It really is. I mean, and when I was a kid, I didn't find out until I was a teenager that my dad was a photographer. He was a film photographer. And like I had mentioned before, my bedroom was a dark room.
Yeah.
Before I was born, not like while I was living in there. It was before I was even a twinkle in his nutsack. But people have been photographers for a long, long time. Mm-hmm. But when I was a kid, I've always had a fascination with tech. And back then, a film camera to me was tech.
Yeah.
We had the rotary video cameras that you wind them up and they would.
Oh shit!
And it would be like, I don't know how many frames per second. It was like almost nothing.
Wow.
It was bad, and there was never any. Of course, there was no sound.
Yeah.
With those, but it was. Those type of things were interesting to me.
Yeah.
And I would always kind of veer towards those types of things. Music had always grabbed me.
Well, when you were a kid, music was transforming. Like, you were the kid in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like...
Well, I was born in 77, but yes, I was coming up in the 80s.
Yeah, you just become a teenager at the end of the 80s. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'm sure you were listening to shit like while you were 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah.
Radio was different back then.
You ask anybody your age today, like, what's the best genre? Like, what's the best years of music? 80s.
Yeah.
80s was the shit,
and early
man.
90s.
80s and early 90s was the shit.
Well, it was just, everything was changing at that time. The world in the 80s was completely different. I mean...
Yeah, from like the start of the 80s to the end of the 80s.
Yeah, it was just so different, I mean, I don't know how to describe it, to be honest with you.
You had Butthole Surfers, a band named Butthole Surfers. They were big back then.
The Butthole Surfers, yeah.
Shit like that was going on.
Yeah, Black Flag.
Shit,
Rancid.
dude.
Yeah, all those bands, but like music was just different. It was just different. Like I grew up listening to shit that kids would never listen to today. I mean, unless they're like in music appreciation or if they're into jazz.
Or like me, like my dad made me listen to Frank Zappa when I was like 5
Yeah.
6,
I was listening to, when I was a kid.
Not made me, but
I was a wee lad. I would listen to LPs, like records, like actual vinyl records, and we had a fuckload of them, and I would listen to all the records in the Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon. That was like one of my favorite albums. There were people like that I would listen to that were obscure even for that time.
Yeah.
David and David. If you have a chance, they're probably obviously no longer involved with each other, but I liked that type of music. Joe
Mhm.
Satriani, Eric Johnson, musicians,
Yeah.
that were badass at their craft.
Yeah.
Obviously Rush.
Oh God, I was just about you stole the words right off my tongue.
I mean,
man.
that's just an obvious one. They are
Yeah.
like, if they don't land at the top somewhere in the music history or whatever the fuck it is,
Yeah.
like I'm gonna have a real problem with that.
Bro, I forget the drummer's name.
Neil Peart,
Oh my goodness.
he's Canadian, French Canadian.
Oh my goodness.
Dude, he's
Like YYZ, that song YYZ.
Yeah. 7/8.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, bro.
Yep. And for the time, he was like nothing we'd ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, he would literally have to crawl into his drum kit. He had to
Yeah, because
go
it's
under
fully
it
surrounded.
completely surrounded him.
Yeah.
But and we were, I mean, obviously as a band geek and a dork, a fucking musical dork, like I was like, oh my God, look at all those drums, but now you got guys like this, I can't pronounce his name. It's like Esteban de Stereo or something like that. You've probably
Is it a YouTuber guy?
he does. Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing a one hand while he's drinking a coffee.
That guy.
Yeah, and like, what
And
the
I
fuck?
guarantee you, like if Neil Peart met that guy, he would be impressed.
Yeah.
He's very impressive.
Yeah.
There's always someone cooler than you. There's always someone better than you at everything that you do, no matter what. So if you think you're the best at what you do,
Shut the fuck up.
well, not even that. I mean, I'm not going to go that far, but just at least be mindful that there's someone out there better than you.
Yeah, there's a whole nother world
Yeah.
outside your door. Yeah.
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 That's the wrong thing, but you know what I'm saying.
No, but yeah, I don't know. Growing up, my dad blessed me with like just listening to fantastic freaking music. I mean, Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, like all the oldie, like 96.9 back in the day.
Don't say U2.
No, not U2.
U2.
My dad did not like U2, and he did not like what's the really high switch? Living on a prayer.
Bon Jovi.
Yeah, he hated Bon Jovi. Couldn't stand Bon Jovi.
I loved Bon Jovi though.
He just, I guess, the voice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was blessed with that.
Yeah. I love the
Dire Straits.
oh dude, those guys are bananas.
God.
But yeah, I used to love not the hair bands. I didn't care for that, but I liked like Bon Jovi, like his style. Like people think that wearing skinny jeans today is like something new.
No.
That motherfucker was them guys. Like, go back and watch Robert fucking Plant live. You could see his pants were so fucking tight. You could count his ball hair. You could see his bush and his schlong.
Oh my goodness.
And you could differentiate the two. But I mean, I think I want to say he did pull his dick out on stage one day, or it might just be a conspiracy theory. I don't really know.
Yeah.
But I mean, that dude was just oozing sexual appeal, and them dudes were like, they knew what the fuck they were doing, man.
Yeah.
And they had the world by the fucking balls.
Yeah.
And it was just like, that's where sex, drugs, and rock and roll came from.
And now we have Cardi B.
Yeah.
Out there.
Which I'm not hating on Cardi B. I'm not.
But the times have changed, man.
But to listen to her speak,
Oh yeah.
she sounds like she's got a mouthful of
We won't expand on that. any further.
things. I mean, whatever you put it, whatever, grapes, cotton balls. But I mean, it's amazing to me that like some of the shit that comes off is like music.
Yeah. Yeah.
These
What
days.
passes is popular.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I even got into like the whole digital music thing where I was making music on GarageBand, and like
Yeah.
you can create your own tracks and everything, and it's cool and everything. But I did that, and it was fun, and I do like some electronic music.
Mhm.
Don't get me wrong. There's a guy named Yula, Yula. He's very good. I found him on TikTok. And because he basically would show his process, like how he makes all, because he doesn't just
It's a
play.
breakdown.
He doesn't just play samples that you get off the internet. Like, he makes his own fucking samples. Like, he'll take this cup and like bang it. He'll go like,
Yeah.
and
Start
then-
from scratch.
and then he'll take it and like warp it down and do all this crazy shit and make it sound like something that it wasn't. But he'll loop it and sample it and do all that. And he'll play. He actually knows how to play guitar and drums, and he'll play all of that stuff. Puts it all together, and then just it's like a whole song.
Wow.
And he sings really well. But I digress. I do miss making things with your hands. like I was telling the contractors yesterday, I don't mind doing all this stuff. I don't mind
Yeah.
getting down and dirty. I like doing those type of things. For me, it's just more about time.
Yeah.
I don't have it.
Well, like you just think of, you're trying to forecast what you're putting on your plate,
Right.
and remodeling a whole fucking kitchen with working 50 hours plus hours a week. That's impossible.
Doing pods.
Come on, dude. That's it.
Yeah.
That's too much. Give yourself a break. You got the cash, spend it, you know?
Yeah.
So don't break your back doing that crap, man.
Or my mind.
Yeah, your mind.
You know?
Yeah. Mentally taxing.
I was going to say, these guys come up almost every podcast, but I want to shout out to Collab.
Ayo.
It's been a while since I've heard anything from those guys, and I don't know if it's just because like they fell out of my algorithm because I haven't been on there.
Yeah.
Whatever it may be, but they were talking about doing some kind of event coming up soon. It's been a while since they did an event. But they were talking about doing an event very soon, and I'm hoping there's nothing like, oh wait, networking is back on November 16th. So that's in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So I was going to say, you think you'd want to go with me to one of those collab events?
I could try, yeah.
If you're available.
Depending on, when the wife's on call and the logistics of it, but yeah.
Yeah. Let's see, November 16th is a Thursday.
Okay.
So, and I usually only go for a couple hours, but I'd love to take you up there so the people that have been watching they can actually meet you.
Yeah.
And, maybe we can get you up there and model a little bit.
Oh, shit. Take my shirt off or
Whoa,
something.
hey. Yeah, they like that.
I bet.
Anytime anybody
Start
does
throwing dollars at me.
Well, anytime anybody does anything like outside of the norm,
yeah,
all photographers jump and they run because it's like it could be good content.
I gotcha. Could give them more likes.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that's lovely about those networking events is that it's basically like working with models for free.
Yeah.
And they get content, you get content.
Yeah,
now,
everybody leaves happy.
I'm just going to say to anyone who's watching that I shot with at the last event, I didn't post much. And that's mainly because I haven't finished editing everything, but I'm still messing with it. Cameron, I've got some photos I still need to send you, but I'm just not, I'm just not fucking feeling it right now, man. I tried and like.
It happens.
Like yesterday, my girlfriend's daughter, she got dressed up as Luigi. She was super cute, like girly Luigi with a little tutu. And I brought her out here and I snapped off a couple photos and just editing that and getting those pictures ready for her mom.
Yeah.
Because I shot maybe 10 frames. I gave her 3, and she thought it was cute and she was happy with that. But
yeah,
just even doing that was like an ass whip for me.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I
like
don't
a
wanna,
mental ass whip.
Yeah. I was like, I don't want to fucking do this.
Yeah.
And I hate that.
Well, they say a body in motion stays in motion, Jim.
It's true.
And I can't say much here. I'm a hypocrite. I don't work out as much, but
I just started back doing only calisthenics, like body weight, pull-ups, push-ups, sit-ups.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's all you need. I don't know. I forget that football player that just did push-ups, pull-ups, and sit-ups. He uses his own body weight. It's like not Terry Crews. I don't know, somebody. But
the guy that he only eats one bowl of soup a day.
Some shit like that.
Is he the guy that's a fighter now? He was a football player, now he's a fighter?
No. Most of the football players don't do well in the UFC. They all get knocked the fuck out.
Yeah, I don't know if I've lost his fucking name and it's whatever.
Yeah, but that's good though. Like you have to do muscle resistance training.
Yeah.
To maintain like a healthy heart, the chemical balances in your body and everything like that. Like that. I mean, we were only freaking bred to do it for a long time. You know what I mean? But I feel like when I have a good like downfall in motivation, it's because I'm not working out or I'm just not being active.
Oh, 100%.
Calling myself a pussy.
Yeah, it definitely changes your mental status. Like for me, and not only that, but just energy levels.
Yeah,
I'm finding that because what I'm doing, when you haven't exercised or done any workouts for a while, you should start slow.
Yes,
especially at my fucking age. Okay, I'm pushing 50.
Mm-hmm.
Not really. I mean, we're close enough. 4 years away. But anyways, you have to pace yourself. You need to start slow.
Yeah.
I mean, I do a fuckload of stretching. I have to every day. Not yoga, but almost,
Mm-hmm.
But I'll do 25 to 50 push-ups a night before I go to bed. I do the same amount of, sit-ups, which I do crunches. I don't really do sit-ups. I do crunches with leg lifts.
Yeah.
And, doing it at the same time, and then I go to bed.
Yeah.
And I'm a little winded. Yes, my heart is elevated, but as soon as my heart rate drops to like its normal rate, which my heart stays around 50 to 60 beats per minute. It's low. And even so, when it gets really high, it doesn't take long. But as soon as it drops to its normal rate, I'm fucking out like a light. Yeah. And then when I wake up in the morning, I make my bed. It's the first thing I do as soon as I get out of bed. I make my fucking bed. And some people don't understand that. But for me,
accomplishing the first task of the day,
it makes my day go better. And it's like a win. It's like your first win. And if you get out on the road and somebody cuts you off, okay, that was a loss, but hey, I already had a win.
Yeah.
So I do that. And then I do the same routine I did before I went to bed. I do it again in the morning, but I try to go like 5 more. So if I stop at 25, I go to like 30. If I stop at 50, I go to 55.
Yeah.
So I just try to push myself a little extra. I just started throwing the pull-up bar up and doing more of those again.
Yeah, I got one in my house, man. You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah. So,
there's so many different facets though, to like maintaining your daily function.
Yeah, even just hanging on the pull-up bar.
Yeah.
It does wonders for my back.
Yeah, it releases all that tension and pressure off of your
My back
spine,
is fucked.
I bet.
It's figgity fucked. But
so I got in the military because mine was gonna get fucked.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I
they'll use you
got
and
the
abuse
head
you.
injury, and shit, and that still fucks with me. But, yeah, man, flag football's fun until you fucking crack heads with somebody.
That's not cool.
Yeah, it's not cool. So, everybody around said it sounded like 2 wooden baseball bats. But yeah, get your fucking noggins checked out if you get a head injury, people. It's very important.
Yeah.
CTs is like a
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like Muhammad Ali.
And people encourage their kids to play football and shit.
Yeah.
If I had a boy, I would never encourage him to play football.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times in high school I got my shit rocked.
I mean, I'm not. Look,
I was only 120 pounds.
I
was only 120 pounds in high school.
I thought about that after I said it, and I was like, God, I hope that no one takes umbrage to that, because I don't mean that like you're a bad parent. If your kid wants to play football, fine, but just let them know the dangers of it.
It was really fun until you got your shit fucking cracked like that. You got your wig split, you know?
Yeah.
Little story, like it was my freshman year. I didn't play fall in freshman year. I played spring, so we had spring like practice, all these practices for one freaking game. You 2 months of practices for one game. But during those practices, like one day, I don't know, guy ran like a screen out to the flats, and I'm playing corner, and this linebacker, he was going D1. He was going D1 in Kentucky, named Ramsey Myers. He's like every bit of 300 pounds, 6'4".
Oh Jesus!
And just ran me over. I'm a 120 pound freshman.
By a brick wall,
bro. Like almost 3 times at my side. That was not fun. You know what I mean? And that shit's dangerous.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's one of the fears, but I mean that's one of the things I always saw those guys, and I was like, they're huge. I don't ever want to play football. When I was a kid, did not have no desire to play football.
Yeah,
not even a little. That's why I was just a little band geek.
I think I was more stupid than fearful.
Most kids are. Most young men.
Probably why I joined the army.
Yeah. Probably. That and you believe the lie, but
yeah, I believed it for a while.
What do you think about the show, man, so far?
I love it, man.
Not this one, but just in general.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
No, I like the whole branching off, kind of expanding your logo a little bit. Yeah. I like that. It's pretty cool.
Making myself a brand.
You're not niching down like on something that's already a niche, which is podcasting. You know what I mean? Like it's a niche within a niche. It's kind of hard to filter that out.
Yeah.
So... No, it's
and
good.
we stay true to my original kind of I mostly have photographers, videographers, and models and stuff like that on, and that's mostly what we talk about. But episodes like this I think are important. I think that I want people to know some of my views on these things. It's I want them to know who you are.
Yeah.
Because you're fully part of the show now. You're in there. You are in the family.
In the flesh, baby.
You're in the family, but you're in the family.
Yeah.
You're in the GBP.
The GBP. Not the CCP.
That's right. Whoa.
Nah, fuck that.
Where are we at on time?
Hour 51, man.
Holy shit balls, for real?
Yeah, Batman, we're coasting.
I had like a whole nother topic to talk about.
We can go, man. Come on.
All the celebrities that have been dying recently.
Oh.
It's been nutty, man. Like the last one was what, Chandler? What's his name? No, it's not his real name.
Man, the whole Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah.
She's been talking. She's like said I'm gonna come out with a list of people last week.
The what?
Like of the Epstein Island shit.
Oh no, I'm just talking about people that are dying, like celebrities that are fucking flopping, like fucking. I can't. I swear to God, like I've seen them. All the guy that played Chandler on fucking Friends died.
I'm sorry, I went straight down a fucking rabbit hole there.
You did.
Yeah.
You went down the other way.
I don't know. I just look at X, so.
Yeah.
And X is like just.
It's gonna give them to you.
X gonna give it to you. Yeah. I mean, everything you want to find is there. It's so fun to think about these ideas.
Yeah.
I guess the fun's not the proper. It's exciteful because you know that there's pieces of shit in the world. You just want to see them go. You want to see them fall. But
it'll happen eventually. I mean,
karma, man. She just doesn't work fast enough for me. You know what I mean? But I gotta be patient.
Yeah, for sure. But it's crazy. My whole thing is like, why is it? Sure, it's sad when a celebrity dies, right?
Oh yeah.
But it's also like people die every day.
Yeah, like
why do we get worried? We're so weird about like when celebrities die.
Yeah, you only see them for 30 minutes in an episode, here at a time. They don't know you. It's just going back to the what is that? Put on a show, give them bread, give them a show, just shit like that I think about. When Rome fell, give them bread, give them shows, in the Coliseum, and entertain them with that bullshit.
Yeah, keep them entertained, so they don't know what the fuck's really happening.
So they don't look up,
that.
So
that's for sure happening.
It's just so blatant at this point.
I saw this thing the other day. It was an obvious show. I don't know what show it was from. If it's not, it was like a really good, like facsimile of a show. But it was like a lady interviewing an alien. Okay, and it was obvious because the alien spoke English.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm like, this is a fucking TV show.
Yeah.
I don't know what show it was, but it was kind of an interesting thought that they wrote into the script, and the alien was just like, we go to before we invade, we send out a satellite group of people, and we scout out the location.
Yeah.
And then we terraform or whatever.
Yeah.
And the way and she's like, well, how do you do that? And and he said, and then the Armada comes and 200,000 years later, and she goes, well, we have at least 200,000 years, right? Because she thought that he was the part of the group, and he's like, no, they arrived tomorrow. We came 200,000 years ago.
Oh wow!
And implanted a virus on this planet, and to destroy. All life, or to terraform this planet for us.
Yeah.
And she goes, well, obviously it didn't work because we're still here. And he goes, in fact, the virus was humans.
No shit.
I was like, whoa, twist.
Damn.
I want to know what fucking show that is, because that was cool, man. It was a good twist. But if you think about it, god darn, it could be right, man. Could be right. Could be something. Now that'll fucking piss off all the religious people. And if you're religious, I'm not taking anything away from you.
Yeah.
Feel free to believe in whatever you believe. I'm not saying that I don't.
Yeah, but fuck it, man. It's fun to exercise that shit in your mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's fun to exercise that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Everybody's got intrusive thoughts. Why is this any different?
Yeah, exactly.
Man.
I
think about taking, my car off this fucking Buckman Bridge like at least 4 times a day.
Yeah, just don't let your intrusive thoughts win.
Yeah, you just gotta
think about it.
You gotta overpower those.
Yeah. Don't let them come to fruition. Stay in your fucking lane, Jim.
I know, right? Where is my lane? I don't even know.
No, but that's like the belief that some people have of where the aliens were sent here and they like I don't even have the camera on me, but they basically came and procreated with like Neanderthals and everything.
Yeah.
And then made humans because what else would evolution explain our brains doubling in size in 2 million years?
Well, and one of the things
mushrooms maybe.
Yeah. Well, that's what they say is the
Yeah.
stoned ape theory. But like, that was one of the things the guy was saying. He goes, "You think you're the first living beings on this planet?"
Yeah.
He said, "No." He said, "Do you think that humans made the pyramids?"
Yeah.
No, there was advanced civilization before you. We put you here and you killed them. You know,
Wow.
so it was just like, wow.
Just like all the big cats that humans have killed.
If
You
you
know,
think
because that used to be our main predator.
Yeah.
Big cats.
Yeah.
So.
And short-faced bears.
Yeah, short. Oh yeah, those things were big too, man. They're size like a Volkswagen Beetle.
Yeah, but and they were vicious. But I mean, think about it. We're like the whether you believe in global warming, you know, if you don't, you're probably one of those flat earth people. I don't really know, and I'm not judging that either. You think whatever you want. Turtles all the way down. But you know, but it is. We're almost terraforming the planet for someone. You know, if we don't evolve faster to deal with the rising temperatures.
Yeah.
I mean, could you imagine what? I mean, if it continues to go on this process.
Yeah.
Which again, a lot of scientists will tell you that it's cyclical, that it'll eventually normalize, and that a global warming is much better than a global cooling. Because if it was a global cooling, there ain't a fuck shit piece of nothing that you could do.
Yeah.
Nothing. Everything will die. Everything.
Yep.
There will be no wood to burn. There will be no electricity.
No resources.
And we will die much faster.
Yeah. Well, the only thing constant is change.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like everything, it's always a pendulum or always a roller coaster, whatever way you look at a wave. And but these things also happen over a long period of time.
Yeah.
Millions
of years.
We don't. You know, as long as no comet comes in and kills us, or we don't nuke each other.
Yeah.
Or,
evolution doesn't happen in like 100,000 years. It happens in millions of years. but
I mean, who's to say that? You know, there isn't some higher thing out there that comes in, just shakes us off like a scab and restarts us. You know what I mean?
Could.
So,
well, if they tilt the flat Earth on its axis, then we'll all fall off.
Yeah.
But we'll go ahead and wrap this thing up. But don't forget, next week on the 8th, around 6:37-ish, 7:30-ish, whatever, whenever we decide to go live, Jennifer Janeo will be here back for another Beauty and the Beard podcast, and we should be pretty fun. I'm looking forward to it. Don't forget to go check out her podcast, Generally Speaking. She's had a couple of really great guests on, and I just listened to the last episode. Fucking fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Do yourself a favor and go check out Juicy Jen over at Generally Speaking. And you know, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe this podcast too. It does help us out, and it's free. You don't got to pay anything. Everything's free. And I'll try and keep it that way. And hopefully for now, there's no ads or anything like that. I am working on an affiliate program right now, so that I might start mentioning that a little bit. But if you're a content creator that likes to do lives and things of that nature, it's going to be something beneficial to you as well. Anyways, so wow. With all that being said, I ain't got nothing else. You got anything else?
I don't know. People, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
Ooh.
So I'll leave you with that. Beans, bullets, Band-Aids, folks.
Amen.
I'll leave you with that.
Fuck yeah. All right. See ya.
Peace.